Hi, I'm Lili Nupen. I'm the co-founder of NSDV Law and the head of the mining and environmental team. With me, I've got...
Hi, I'm Methembeni Moyo. I'm the head of the Africa practice at NSDV Law.
Hi guys, I want to talk about something that's been talked about a lot in Africa these days, and it's local beneficiation and local content. So the question is, should Africa prioritise beneficiation, or should they focus on local content policies that deliver economic participation immediately?
Brilliant question, Leon. I have to say, Met and I have had this discussion a number of times with a couple of our colleagues and friends like Kevin Lester and Eva Derrida as well. And it really is a pertinent one. Met, I don't know about you, but my view really is that there's been such a strong focus in the, from a legislative perspective, to almost enforce local beneficiation. So the government seems to have taken a stick approach, particularly in the South African context, where you have to do X percentage of local beneficiation in order to maintain your license or in order to obtain a license, particularly in certain instances. Whereas what we're seeing a lot of across the continent is the notion around local content. Now, my perspective is, it is widely understood that local ownership, local content is a given. I don't believe that companies are concerned or are fighting back or are constrained around the notion of that local ownership side of things. So there's a willingness to be able to take on the local ownership, comply with those requirements, because in essence a lot of internationals are coming into Africa and are taking up a lot of the resources and do understand that there does need to be that local ownership. But that enforcement of the local beneficiation, which is that downstream process, where sometimes there actually isn't the capability, there aren't the skills. I mean, I think that might be stifling the industry a bit. So I don't know, my view is that let's focus on the local content and create an enabling environment, which I do want to talk to you about a bit more. Create that enabling environment to try and determine and to try and encourage the local beneficiation rather. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Lil, I totally agree, and I think the key word there is an enabling environment. And I think that it's both organic and also inorganic, in that it needs the policy to actually make the environment enabling. And I think a good start is local content laws, because with local content laws you almost create a certain class of people that are plugged into the value chain, that start earning capital. Capital is transferred into the hands of locals, and bit by bit they start growing these small little industries, trucking companies and catering and guys who repair trucks and tires and maintenance and guys who fix pumps and guys who bring in things for distribution. But before you know it, it's not just distribution now, but there's now value-added services to the equipment you're supplying into the mining industry. And before you know it, you've got a whole industrial complex that supports mines. And before you know it, you've got little smelters coming up here and there, little processing plants. And that should happen organically on the one hand, but also policy needs to support it on the other hand. So you need very stable fiscal policies. I think Africa is renowned for having unstable fiscal policies, but a place like Zambia, for example, I think is getting it right from a fiscal policy perspective. You were there at the ZIMIC conference, and we both listened to the president's address, and he was very proud to say that there is no exchange control, for example, in Zambia. So if you invest $1 billion in a mine expansion or in building a new smelter for beneficiation processes, you will get your $100 million back in profit and without any hassle. Right?
Absolutely.
The taxing regime is quite stable. So that type of fiscal stability is required, but also you need the industry to actually be there. So you need affordable power. Now both Zimbabwe and Zambia, for example, are very reliant on the Kariba Dam. And when there's no water, they don't have power. So then how do you power a massive industry with unreliable electricity? It just practically won't happen until you have enough power.
Yes, exactly.
And perhaps this is something for our clients to start thinking about, is opportunities. How do you plug people into the SADC power pool? South Africa has got all these renewable energy projects that keep going online, they're going online so fast that they are outstripping the grid capacity in South Africa. So maybe that excess power can be exported to power-hungry jurisdictions. And maybe it's just a matter of building more overhead power lines within the SADC power pool grid.
And looking at it regionally.
And yeah.
And listen, Met, I totally agree with you. I do also think that Zambia is a great, and just from our being at ZIMIC, which was the most brilliant conference, and having the president actually address us, I do believe that they are an excellent kind of first player for a lot of the other continents to watch and keep an eye on, and to perhaps follow in their footsteps. I mean, from your work that you're doing as head of Africa at NSDV, I know that your practice is booming because of the local content aspect. But the offshoots regarding the local type beneficiation projects that are coming and that people are looking at, following on from those local content transactions that you're busy with, I really do believe that that's going to be the next wave. And if Zambia, and as the president said, if he can keep to his word, can continue to enable the environment to allow for this investment to come in, to hopefully encourage the rest of the region and the rest of SADC, as you say, to assist from a power perspective. I mean, can you just imagine what's ahead?
And Lil, and we really have a glimpse of it. You know, a good measure or a good barometer of where a country is going is how long are people willing to commit capital in that country for. So capital is very shy, as you would know, and no one is willing to invest 15, 20 years, billions of US dollars if they're not 100% sure of a jurisdiction. But both Barrick and FQM, when we did the mine visits on the WhyAfrica road trip, are committing to long-term billion US dollar expansion projects. They've got plans to build super pits. They've got plans to build new villages. They've got plans to build new roads. They even a plan to build a $500 million airstrip at Barrick's mine. So, and those are long-term projects. And you can't commit that much long-term, expensive capital if you don't have faith that the policy environment is going to stay stable. So I think a jurisdiction, I agree with you, a jurisdiction to watch is Zambia, and not only to watch but to copy as well.
Agreed. So Leon, local content, our view, focus on the local content, the local beneficiation will follow.
Agreed.